just read it out because my notes are better than fucking trying to say it out in a stumbly fucking bad idea. Bad way. It's alright. Number 1 is return fire and take cover. No shit, Sherlock. And this is section-wise. This is to yourself and section-wise. Return fire and take cover. Direct or expect casualty to remain engaged as combatant if appropriate, as I just told you. If they can fucking shoot, they still keep shooting. Even though they moan and cry and call their mum. Direct casualty to move to cover and apply self-aid if able. This means, short and brief, when you are in a tactical situation and you're being engaged or engaging other targets, you got one casualty and he is firing out, but he's in a kill zone. You direct the casualty, or the patient, whatever, move back himself, your location. You are never to run into a kill zone to try to get a person out, or heal him. Again, dangerous situations, and not to put yourself in them. Right?
Yep.
Try to keep the casualty from sustaining additional wounds. That is a bit elaborate description. If you're in a firefight, the chance of he's taking another wound is great, but rather him being able to fire and still firing than him actually pulling back and getting healed up before the firefight is over. Rule of thumb, you never start healing people in a firefight unless you deem it safe enough to treat people in a certain location, preferably at the back. Okay? And that's and here comes in where if they can move, they can fucking move to you. Right?
Yep.
5, casualties should be extricated from burning vehicles or buildings and moved to relative safe. Alright? That's just if, this is, Arma-wise, it just means you can survive a car crash and a heli crash. Oh, you can still pull people out of that and save them. But since we all know that armor, fucking logic, things can explode, so can they in real life. Grab the people, get them to safety, and then treat them. Get them, rather, just get them out of there, to a safe location where you can actually heal them. It's pretty logical. Yep. Prosecuting the mission and caring for the casualty may be in direct conflict. Alright?
Okay.
Understand this?
Yep.
Again, what's best for the casualty may not be the best for the mission. Alright? When there's conflict, what takes precedence? What do you think, Stano?
Sorry, what was that last bit?
If you're in a situation, you take a casualty.
Yep.
But it's directly against fucking. If it's in conflict with the mission directives. You fucking go for the mission instead of the man.
You mean it's gonna hold up the mission?
Yeah, exactly. I'll come with a little thing here in a second. But always think it's scenario dependent. Alright? You always have to think of your feet. Being a medic there's no black and white, it's up to you. Alright? Unless this IC screams at you to not. Alright?
Yep.
And again, if you're in firefight, don't get your treat a casualty in the kill zone. Press the enemy fire and moving casualties to cover are major concerns. Suppression of hostile fire will minimize the risk of both new casualties and additional injuries to the existing casualties. Firepower contributed by medical personnel and the casualties themselves may be essential to tactical fire superiority. Best medicine on the battlefield is fire superiority. This is the most important thing you can fucking remember. Fire superiority before anything else. You have to help the ICs with this, since you have the role of being the guy everybody screams after. Alright? You got the prerogative to tell people to go fuck themselves. And that's a good thing. If you wouldn't mind, do you got any questions while I just shift some documents around here?
Don't think so far. So far good.
No?
people always gonna expect you to come to them at your call
Mm-hmm.
when they call for you. Like, I'm bleeding from my tongue.
Yeah, I
Can you
noticed.
please patch me up? And that's where you just either determine when to put the foot down or just tell them to piss off and yeah, click on your feet basically. And
Got to be abrupt,
usually
like solid.
people are just really whiny and they want the screen not to blink and all that, but they can continue on. So Jesus fuck, just pipe down and continue shooting. That's really the priority in all cases.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of people moan about pain all the time.
Erp.
Pain is
That's-
really not
It's not
a
necessarily
big
a major
obstacle.
issue.
I'm sorry
Not
for the
unless
delay.
it's gonna lead you to bleed out, but pain is something secondary.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I have a quick question. I
Uh-huh.
don't know if you're going up with it further, but when you were saying fire superiority as a medic, you want to keep it up. Do you have an order of, order of importance of
Order of
the
importance.
treatment? Sorry?
Like
So in other words, if the IC goes down or a light machine gun, which one do you get up first? Like, are you going over that, or is that further ahead?
Good question.
Because
No,
that was
good
my
question.
question.
Hold on,
Eric?
wouldn't that be based on like the individual scenarios?
It would be, yes, it
Yeah.
would be Stylo. But Zook, very good question, actually. If anyone goes down under a firefight, what would you do, Zook? As a rifleman or a medic?
If I was a medic, well, if there's a firefight, no, you have to continue the firefight and win the firefight. But I'm saying, like, after the firefight's established and you're able to treat a patient,
Okay.
then what?
Then what? That's a good question. Well, if he has gotten more experience, he will, of course, run to the IC and look at his wounds. If the wounds are fucked up and bad, he'll start treating the IC, of course. But what usually happens is that somebody else, another rifleman, the true IC, runs to the other, down to personnel and try to keep them stable until the medic can move over to that location. Or what we probably would do is that we would bring in the troop medic, because if an IC is down and a rifleman is down, you probably would be combat ineffective.
Right.
And to a certain extent, of course. All right. What I just wrote up for you there, Stylo, was the tactical field care. Tactical field care is the care rendered by the first respondent or combatant once he and the casualty are no longer under effective hostile fire. It also applies to situation in which an injury has occurred, but there's been no hostile fire. If somebody falls down a fucking roof, or the firefighter's over, or this scraped his balls and something. Tactical evaluation care. Tactical evaluation care is the care rendered once the casualty has been picked up by an aircraft, ground vehicle, or boat. Additional medical personnel and equipment that may have been pre-staged should be available in this phase of casualty management.